Hey guys, it's Wednesday morning and it is a beautiful day. Hey Bella. Bella got to sleep outside outside of her cage because her heat cycle is over. So happy for that. I hate to cage her up. Stop it. You've already been fed. Hi baby. Good girl. Good girl. Yes you are. Yes you are. Yes you are. So in the last video, I had several people commenting with suggestions on how to save the trees that Daisy and Ollie and Otis stripped the bark from. However, as well-meaning as those comments were, unfortunately, if the bark is taken off all the way around the trunk, which is called girdling, the tree won't survive. Mainly because the wood of a tree is the support structure of a tree. So think of a skyscraper. You've got the steel beams, and then the bark is the plumbing, and that's what takes the water and nutrients out of the ground up around the sides of the structure and then into the leaves. So if a skyscraper has all of its support structures intact, but the plumbing is gone, the people at the top are going to die. I mean, I guess they can leave, but leaves can't leave. And so this one here does have a tiny strip of bark that is still intact. I mean, this is a little thin right here. So this one may live, but it also has these two lower branches that could be trained into trees here as well. Their bark is still intact. And then you've got the top tree that basically they just started on. So they got some of these outer branches here, but the trunk was not touched. So this one has no problem. Now, they all look green. Even this one here that will die, because these are really drought tolerant trees. It's carrot wood. And when I first got these trees, I kept them in pots that were way too small for the size they were. They were root bound, and I went without watering for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they were bone dry, but the leaves still looked almost the same. So even though this tree effectively is dead, it will probably look alive. I don't know how long, maybe a week or two, which makes it really hard to take out. Fortunately, this comes at a great time because our local utility company, SDG&E, is offering a rebate. Depending on the size of the pot, you get a bigger rebate as the pot size goes up. So for 50-gallon pots, which I'm going to get, they're offering a rebate of up to $50 on each one. And the trees that I want are mostly in the 15-gallon containers. They're about $60. So I'll only be spending $10 per tree. It's a maximum of 5 trees per year. And this year ends on November 30th. So you have to have them bought in the ground, send your receipt and pictures, and then you get rebate. Then you get a rebate for that. I'll be replacing the lowest tree with that, and then I'll put 4 more about 15 feet apart. That'll take us to about right there. And I've been trying to research the different types of trees. They have specific varieties that they will rebate for. It's not just anything. So natives and native friendly trees, even some fruit trees, but I'm going to get my fruit trees bare root. I just think they take off better, they're cheaper, and they don't cover bare root fruit trees in this rebate. So anyway, I'm going to be putting Australian willow out here. It is pretty drought tolerant. It's evergreen, it grows fast, and it grows about 30 feet tall and about 20 feet wide. So it checks all the boxes for the pasture perimeter. Oh, and it's non-toxic to livestock. So we're going to be renting a trailer and take care of that in the next couple of days. And at the same time, since we have the trailer, we're going to be getting a bunch of hay to bring home so Doug can have a break this time. And then the pallets that all the stone came on for the walls, we're taking those back to where we got them because they buy them back from you. So And then there was one other thing. What was it? Trees, hay, pallets. I don't know. So I'm checking to see how much hay we have left. We've got 3 or 4. So yeah. So we have enough for tonight, tomorrow. That's about it. So we have to see if we have time tomorrow to do this. Otherwise, we'll have to like just go get one bale of hay in the back of our car, and then maybe do the rest of this. Oh, it was compost. I need a load of mushroom compost. So we'd go to the mushroom farm and pick that up in the trailer as well. So that's a lot to pack in one day. I harvested my volunteer driveway pumpkins that were right here. Now I just have to mow and pull all those weeds out. I got 3 really nice looking pumpkins. One there, and one here. So I am still doing a trial run on a new way to grow tomatoes. I said if it works this year, I did it last year with success. If I do it this year and it works well, then I'll tell you what it is next spring. Now, can you see here? I'm gonna pull these. These are 2 different vines grown in 2 different ways. Ugh. There is a very big difference between the thickness of this vine and the thickness of this vine, as well as the flower size. This one versus this one. Much bigger, much more robust. This entire vine is more robust than this one is. And I've got several others here grown both ways, and the same is true for all of those. So I think probably on the next video we will go ahead and harvest our sweet potatoes. They're looking really good. They're starting to bloom now. And so if you live in a climate where it gets cold and the cold starts to kill them off, that's when you know it's time to harvest. If you live in a climate where they could probably just grow all winter long, when they bloom, that's when you harvest them. I'm just gonna pull one here and see. So this is a Japanese purple sweet potato. Looks good. Might just make this for lunch. So I want to talk to you a minute about this area down here. Originally, this was where I was going to put my vineyard. So this path is going to come down alongside the vegetable garden. I'm still working on it. Vegetable garden's over here. And then this slope off down toward the fence, that's a pomegranate tree. I may move that, not sure. But this was going to be the vineyard. Mediterranean garden is, all of this, so the vineyard would be in the perfect spot. Then I decided that I was going to have the vineyard be the front part of this orchard over here. And then the fruit trees would go up. And then I was trying to figure out what I should do over here where the vineyard was gonna go. And I thought, well, maybe like a formal Italian garden. The only problem is the slope. And that the slope dead ends into a fence, which then has a cliff. And so I would have to like dig this way down, flatten it out, but you really can't push dirt up against this side. It would put weight on the cliff, which we don't want. Plus it would just go through the fence and down on the other side. So we'd have to dig this down really far to make this flat here. And then it really isn't that big of an area to make an entire like formal garden. So I was kind of at a loss on what to do in this section. So I'm going back to my original idea, and it's going to be the vineyard, and then I'll just have more room over there for fruit trees. So looking from our patio over, this big firethorn bush will be removed. So you'll just see grapes growing, vegetable garden, then the orchard way over on the other side. And that'll be a nice view, I believe. Take a look at my potted citrus. This is a gold nugget tangerine or mandarin orange, I'm not sure which. One of the best. Doug, my friend that brings us our hay, he brought a couple for me to try off of his tree, and they are the best I've ever had. Sweetest, juiciest, just so good. And then we have a lemon tree on either side of the stairs here, which it's got some nice looking lemons on it. And this is a blood orange tree. I don't know if you guys remember this, but over here on the other side of the vegetable garden, there used to be a fence going along here that kind of blocked me from the rest of my property over there. And I initially, this was over a year ago, I planted an orange tree on the other side of the fence there. And it just struggled because I didn't have water going to it. So it was only when I remembered to water it that it got watered. And I would have to climb the fence to do anything to it, which didn't really happen. So I potted it up. That's it right there. And it will be moved to a new spot. I'm not exactly sure where. Possibly to cover this fence. You know, I've said since we moved in here that I want to block off the greenhouses over there and the road with some kind of hedge or something. So I was thinking of putting the citrus there, but then I noticed that we had 2 acacia trees volunteering themselves up here in the front yard. The future, well, this will be the Japanese garden eventually, but acacia trees won't really work there. But you can see, is this 1 or 2? I believe it's, oh, it's just 1. Okay, well, that's all right. So if I could dig this up, and maybe plant it next to the fence, because these are acacia trees here. There's acacia, then a eucalyptus, and then more acacia down this way. So put another acacia tree, and then maybe even move the pomegranate tree just a little bit to the right and back toward the fence, and that would give me the screen that I want without spending any more money. So I said part of the use for the trailer we're going to rent is to bring in mushroom compost, and that is to, well, for many things, but to start filling the tropical beds that I have dug. I've got these 2 Abyssinian bananas here that need to be planted in the ground. I've got all of these gingers here next to the patio cover that need to be cut way down. You can see we've got new growth happening here. These are all old. I've got the plumerias, which I bought, what was that, a month ago or more? And they just keep falling over. They're top heavy. They need to be put in the ground. And then I've got my cuttings from Hawaii that are looking great. Oh, and my tea plants. So once I fill in all the beds, I'll be able to do all of that. So right now I've got them dug out. You can barely see them. I mean, maybe you can a little bit more, but all along here, all the way over to that easy up. So I'm really looking forward to getting started on the tropical garden, at least planting stuff, because, you know, if I get them in right now, then they'll kind of settle in and put out some roots for the winter, even though they're mostly dormant on top. And then when the spring comes, they're going to be ready to take off and grow. I do have a little bit more to dig out though before we bring in the compost, so that's probably on today's to-do list. So it's a couple of days later, and I think when we last talked, I was talking about digging out some tropical beds here. So it's always hard to see this because everything's the same color, but let's see. You can kind of see this being dug out here. A lot of work. It's a lot of work. Took me a couple of days to do this, several hours. I run the rototiller to loosen it up. There's, for those of you who don't know, this whole parking lot patio, it's fill dirt held up by this retaining wall. And then the top about 8 inches is a mix of decomposed granite and gravel. So over here in the sun, you can see the layers. We've got decomposed granite right here, and then a layer of gravel, and then you get down to the bottom and it's the actual soil. So I did that. Also, if you remember, this was just overwhelmed with ginger. That's all cut back. I left some of these stalks here that are new growth within the last couple of months. However, when I dig these up to move them, and you can see the rhizomes are just kind of all on top of each other. These won't do that well going into the next year. So I'll probably cut these back anyway, but at least right now they looked good, so I left them. So as I've done in the past, all the gravel and decomposed granite that's taken out over there is actually being put to use over here in the Mediterranean garden, the vegetable garden. So this path that was just dirt is now gravel down here to a point right here. And then I've got the weed barrier, and then it just stops right here. Now this path, gravel, will continue along the bottom of this garden and over. It'll meet up here, where then it will start going up the stairs, and then gravel, the path all the way down. I had to stop at this section because Bill is still going to need to get through here with the tractor. There's still a hole here where this tree is. We got to cover this stump up. You can kind of see it maybe from here. It goes down into a ditch. And I want this to kind of be flat and then just kind of meld into the slope here, because this path is going to come eventually around the other side, through the vineyard, and then around the vegetable garden and out into the orchard. But if I were to have the cloth and the gravel down here where Bill has to be, you know, the turning of the tires and stuff, it would just be completely destroyed. So I got to wait on that. But I did have more gravel and I needed somewhere to put it. So I went ahead and started to extend the path here. So we come up the stairs, and then this path going all the way down that way will be gravel. So I'm offloading it here now. Have to leave a little bit of a spot here because I got to get a step up with some stone. So that's what I've been doing the last couple days. Joel's coming over today. Today's Saturday. And I'm kind of going to give him his pick of what he wants to do. I've got several jobs to work on, and I'll let him choose. One of the jobs is just to continue this wall down. We need about 8 to 10 more feet of it. So I've got the soaker hose running here to soften that up. Another job would be to continue finishing up the tropical bed dig, which is in the shade, so I might nudge him in that direction. This Brugmansia here was taken from a cutting. I thought it was pink. It happens to be yellow, which is fine. Well, these are all getting messed up right now, but anyway, it was growing 3 branches straight up. I left this one straight up, and now I've got these ones tied to bend them out here toward the patio, because I want this to kind of grow out this way and kind of be a shade for the corner here, so to have it be kind of like a little canopy. I did have a third job that we might work on, and that was planting banana trees, more banana trees. I've got 2 more of these Abyssinian red bananas that need to be planted. And then I wanted to cut off some pups from some of these other bananas and get them in this area here. So I'll give Joel his pick when he gets here. That is a very content dog right there, basking in the sun. So Joel's here, and like I told you...
Take 2.
You don't have to say that. Like I told you, I had some choices here for him, and I was going to let him pick, but guess what? I've now thought about it.
And he's going to tell me what I'm about to pick.
Well, okay, come here.
All right.
So the choices were to finish this wall, which is going to bring it about 8 to 10 feet that way, this way, toward us. Or...
Yes! Yes! Carry on.
Are you listening to a game?
Yes.
Or continue digging this out and moving the gravel up to the front, in front of the house in the path.
So which one am I picking?
Well, so I looked out there and I have the gravel almost to the point where the wall is actually finished up to now. So we can't really put the gravel further because it'll be in our way digging for the wall.
So we're going to go dig the wall?
That's a great choice. All right, so the deal is we've got to get this wall to between these 2 windows, right about exactly. So right where the leg of this tent is. And hopefully there'll be less rocks than there were in the other place. All right, so we don't have too deep to dig. There's 3. I wonder if we could even go to 2 courses at this point. Okay, so my thought is, once we get the gravel filled in, there's going to be 2 layers underground. The rules are you only need 1 layer, 1 course underground.
Whatever you say, man. It's your house.
Look, I'm giving you my argument, and I would like feedback.
All right, well, like I said, I would do 3, but if you're short on brick, man, do 2. Do 2.
The way you said 2.
I am a symmetry kind of guy.
Right.
You done it 3 here, then I'd do it 3
Well,
here.
technically it gets 4 and 5 and 6 high all as you go down. So we're moving up closer to where it's getting shallower.
You know what? You convinced me. Let's do 2.
Does he sound authentic? I don't know.
I'm sincere. Let's
Okay,
do 2.
we're going to do 2. What are we doing, Joel?
Joel had a flat tire, a blowout. So, making some adjustments. I don't think this bit's gonna fit.
Say that again.
Said they even match the color. My
You
wife would
can't
be proud.
start with I said because I'm cutting it in. Wait!
Oh my gosh! Spielberg! Spielberg, you're killing me!
Listen, I'm gonna be on camera. I want to make you look good.
Good luck with that.
All right. Action.
It's a good thing these match. Look at that. My wife would be proud that the colors match.
The screw with the boot. Shouldn't you lift the insole first?
What are you talking about?
So it pads your feet?
What are you talking
Pull
about?
up the insole.
No. I don't care.
What? Oh. Now look, I'm taking your spot and wanting everything perfect. Look at that. Look, it's twisting up the insole.
Hey, Mom.
If you would have listened to me.
Mom. I'm good, Mom.
It didn't go in?
No, hey.
All right, anyway, while he's working on that, take a look. We've got the wall done. Good as new.
I don't know about good as new, but it'll do.
So it's the next day, and I totally forgot to film an ending to the video, and I have to get this out to you in like an hour. So we ended up doing almost everything on the list yesterday. We got this dug out, got the gravel here, needs to be spread out a little bit, and we got the wall done. We did not get the bananas planted because I forgot that I needed gopher baskets for them, so I ordered the wire, and that should be here tomorrow, so I can get those done. All in all, productive video, right? I'll see you next time.